Good morning. This morning I've decided to change things up again because the more I learn about weight loss, the more I realize, you know what? My intuition was right. My hunch, let's say. A woman is supposed to gain weight, and it's just perfectly normal. It's by design. And so trying to lose weight is probably not the smartest thing if I'm desiring to be healthy. Probably I need to change what I'm thinking, change my mind, because as I was listening to all different things about weight loss and whatnot, some people say it's this, some people say it's that, and you know what? It's not really any one thing, just like not any one exercise is going to help you. And when I first started, I lost a whole lot of weight. And that was normal because I had gained more weight than what was healthy. But at this point, starving myself or over exercising is not going to help me. Now, I know there's a lot of things they said, like the reason why people gain so much weight around their waist is due to an organ. They say your liver becomes a little bit fatty due to excess in cortisol, I think it was. Anyway, I thought, yeah, there's truth to what everybody says, but that's what I thought. Well, I'm going to teach my kids, so maybe I'll work on that too. Because I think the most important thing is not being able to figure out what the best diet plan is, but to figure out if it's the truth. Because there's so many different ideas out there how to lose weight, but they're all ultimately trying to make money. And the kids they love Bill Nye, and so we watched some video that he had made about Windows versus Chromebook. And I thought, my husband is kind of right, and the kids are right to like him. He did sell out on that, and I could tell it, but how could I tell? It isn't through thinking, and I was trying to help Mary through the process of figuring out if something is right or wrong. And every way she came up with a logic, a way of thinking that could prove things right or wrong. I'm like, that's going to cause you problems when you get older, because I've had a lot of friends who are really, really intelligent. And I used to be envious of them in college and high school when we did assignments and stuff, but I'm not envious of them anymore because I'm not overly intelligent. I'm intelligent enough to have the boost when I needed it, but yet I wasn't overly intelligent so that I relied on it. It's kind of like being crippled and having a wheelchair. You rely on your wheelchair and then they take it away, and then what do you have? Same thing's true with intelligence. If you just rely on your intelligence to solve everything, well, when things can't be solved by your intelligence, then what do you have? Anyway, well, fortunately, they'll always have their logic and they'll always have their intelligence, but it won't necessarily lead them to the right conclusions. There was a really, really good story that I encourage that you watch if you have time and you're wasting time on YouTube or whatever. It's about these blind men who were trying to determine what truth was, and each of them, they were trying to decide what an elephant was, and each one of them gravitated to a certain part, and they felt it, and they did everything they could to discern what the elephant was. And one person grabbed its tail, and they're like, it's like a snake, and the other person grabbed its trunk and said it was like a hose, and one grabbed its leg and said it's like a tree trunk. Of course, they all had different parts, and they were perfectly true and right, but they lacked a certain perspective that comes. And I'm not trying to brag and say I'm better than others, and maybe it will be bad at one point. I also listened to a talk where they say logic is one way of seeing things, and things are always better in stereo, hence we have two eyes. Helps us see better. And I remember when I first had some problems with my brain, one of the first things I lost was sight. Well, I didn't lose my sight, but it was messed up. And I would have to ask people, I'm like, wait a second, can you see this? Because I was seeing like a whole bunch of TVs in the room, and I thought, well, reason says that there aren't that many TVs in a room, so I need to ask somebody I trust. Who was my father and mother at the time? I asked them, how many are there? Because I couldn't rely on my vision. But on what I know and what I see and what people tell me, then I could form what truly was. And that's kind of the way it works a lot of times. Anyway, didn't mean to get off on that tirade. I just meant to say that I decided that probably over exercising, because I've kind of plateaued on my weight loss. And I don't want to give up, but weight loss was never my goal. I just noticed that I was getting way overweight, and I want to be healthy. And I think there comes a point where my body's going to change in ways that I don't necessarily like. Like a little baby, I got taller. Well, I got used to being short, but I didn't throw fits because I got taller. I picked how I was going to look and how my body was going to form, and I picked a really good body. And there's so many times that I rely on just the things it does, like making a baby. I have no idea how to make one. My body did, and it did a really good job. My children are so perfect. Even their brains and things are really good. I personally don't have any idea how to do that, but my body did. And it did a great job. And I need to just trust it that it's going to do the same thing with me. And so I'm just going to try to help it any way I can to make it beyond what it can make it already. Anyway, I'll share one little thing that was very interesting to me. And at a certain age, when women's ovaries stop producing estrogen, did you know that fat produces estrogen? I didn't know that, and that's one of the reasons why women create fat. Now, probably too much fat is not good, and that's not the reason it creates fat, but so I wouldn't be so overly upset about it because it's by design. It needs certain what are those called? Hormones somehow. And that's one way I can get them. So removing all fat from our bodies isn't necessarily the best thing to do. And another thing is, are you trying to please your neighbors? For me, I just wanted to be able to fit into my clothes. I wasn't trying to be more beautiful than anyone. I just wanted to be able to. I get used to wearing clothes, and I bought clothes a little bit bigger, and I thought, I can't keep doing this forever. I'm already at size large. And the last pattern, the thing that I sewed, I made extra large, and it totally does not fit me. So even though it feels good to put clothes on that are too big is just as bad as too small. And my sister-in-law taught me the most important thing when I was in my late 20s, early 30s. Now, at that time, I thought she was a little bigger, but she hasn't changed. But she doesn't seem big to me now, so maybe she really wasn't that big. Anyway, she gave me a shirt that was bigger. And she says, maybe you should wear a little bit larger size, because I wore like little girls' clothes sizes, and I was like lower than a size 1. And she says, well, now that you're growing up, you need to wear more women's clothes. And I've noticed that that's true. Like with my daughter, she tries to wear clothes that she wore when she was 4. I'm like, just give it up. You can't wear that anymore. Anyway, that's what my sister-in-law, she made a really valid point, but I can't remember what that point was now, sorry. It was just the fact that embrace your age. Things change with age, but it's not for the worst. Trust that things are going to be okay. Anyway, I tell you all this to let you know that I've decided not to keep running and running and running. I don't need more cardio exercise and more fasting. I just need to do things that are healthier for my body. Probably my weight loss has stopped, and I'm not as skinny as I used to be, and I probably will never be. And just because some other people did it doesn't mean I need to do it, because I don't even want to do it. I want to start thinking differently so that I can accept and see what I really am, instead of seeing myself as something that's huge, because I'm not huge. Even if I was, it shouldn't matter to me. So my training now is going to be more changing what I think. And I've noticed also that if I spend more of my time helping others and doing things, then naturally I get my workout. Like yesterday, I did a hike and a walk and stuff. And another thing that nutritionists, and I really liked what they said, but one thing they encourage is not eating after a certain time and stuff. Well, that just naturally happens to me anyway. If you're going to sleep, you're not eating, right? Well, my body, I just get tired at a certain point and I go to sleep. Well, I'm not eating, so I guess it's good. And here I was thinking, I should be up and running. But maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I'm gaining more weight by getting up and running than maybe if I just stayed. And I said the wrong thing again. I do that. I let my mouth run away on me. That's not what I was thinking. Don't mean gain weight. I mean getting larger or unhealthy. Because I really don't care how large I get as long as I can still fit in my clothes.